Hello, you're watching Insanity G 96 and welcome to my first ever book review. I want to start by wishing you a very Merry Christmas, less than a week to go, and I thought I'd start off my first ever review with a very Christmassy book. This is The Career of Evil, with multiple murders, a serial killer, a severed leg, and absolutely no Christmas in it whatsoever. That's right, I'm reviewing the not at all Christmassy Career of Evil by Robert Galbraith, aka J.K. Rowling. Now this is the third novel in the Cormoran Strike series. You can see the first one here, The Cuckoo's Calling, and the second one is The Silkworm, which isn't on display by my many pop vinyls because someone has borrowed it. Now, I'd like to start by saying how beautiful this book physically looks. I love reading in hardback. It is dark, mysterious, and it actually gives a great indication of what is held within its pages. As this is my first ever book review on YouTube, quite clearly I haven't reviewed the first two. However, I have on my Goodreads page, so I will leave a link below that will direct you to those if you wish to have a look at what I thought about those. So, on to the review itself. This book builds on the relationship between Cormoran and Robin right from the get-go. And it starts with Robin being sent a leg in the mail, which isn't a very nice present. Now, Robin is horrified by this, as you would expect any sane person to be. However, she doesn't want to give up work. This is because work provides a great distraction of what's happening between her and Matthew at the moment, not giving any spoilers away, and also because work has dwindled a lot since the first book. Cormoran hit massive fame with solving the first murder, which is in the first book. However, work has dwindled to only 2 or 3 cases, which is really, really prominent throughout the book, and it builds on empathy for both characters. Also, Robin is essentially the good character. She is pure of heart, she is someone we root for throughout the 3 novels, and she wants to help everyone. She also really wants to help get this man sent away because he is currently stalking her throughout the novel, which I will talk about later in this review. Now, Cormoran says there is a possibility of 3 men who could have sent this leg. 3. Maybe Cormoran needs to get some new friends in his life. When Robin asks Strike who he thinks could send him a leg, Strike stalls by telling Robin, "Twisted individuals who've all got good reason to hate my guts." Reluctantly, he explains to Robin that there are 2 army guys he knows from his past and his stepfather, Jeff Whittaker. Now, I'm not going to go into the personal reasons why Strike suspects these guys, because that's for you to find out if you want to read the book. However, I will mention a brief summary of who they are. The first Strike mentions is Donald Lang, a Scottish ex-army man, thug, nasty piece of work, who is more than capable of serial killing and chopping up people and girls and stalking and just general nastiness. The second person Strike mentions is Noel Brockbank, another ex-army guy, and someone who does have a history of sexual abuse with minors, but it has never been proved. The third was Strike's stepfather, Jeff Whittaker, who for more personal reasons Strike blames for the stalking and leg, and also the death of his late mother. Whittaker is involved with a lot of drug use and is a wannabe rock star, and he and Strike have butted heads a lot in the past. So, after being introduced to the 3 suspects, this book is a classic whodunit, and what a whodunit it is. It is honestly one of my favourite books I have ever read. Without giving away too much of the plot, I am going to talk about the many, many things I liked about this book. First, I love the relationship between Robin and Strike. And in this book, we see it hit some difficulties. There are a lot of unsaid feelings, clearly prominent, and that isn't giving anything away. It's just a built up in what's happened in the previous 2 books. The second thing I love are Robin and Strike themselves. The way Robert has managed to build empathy and sympathy and to make these characters realistic is absolutely mind-blowing. It's only something I have ever experienced really in the Harry Potter series. I wonder why. But these characters really are incredible. I feel like Robin is my best friend. I want to meet Robin. She is absolutely amazing. And Strike, I want to end up marrying someone like him. He is just amazing. I like the pace of this book. It happens everywhere. It's not just London. They go up to York, they go different parts of England. But there is one thing I can remember, and I was reading this book. It only happened a couple of weeks ago. I was up in Yorkshire, and only then did it click that the tea room that it talks about in here that I'm not going to mention, and also a certain type of scone that I'm also not going to mention, was where I was staying at the time, and it was like Christmas morning for me. I was fangirling. I also like how this book includes so many themes, but without the book seeming clumpy or clunky. There is obviously death and misery and sadness, but they also include the royal wedding, which I really like. There are themes of weddings, of relationships, and there is a very new subject that has been introduced to me called the bid community. Now, I don't know if you know anything about that, but it really did open my eyes to that and to the difficulties faced by amputees. It was a very eye-opening read. So on to some of the stuff I didn't like about this book, and this is going to be very, very quick because there really isn't much I didn't like. The most prominent thing I didn't like about this book was the way it ended. It angered me. I need the next book out ASAP, Robert Galbraith. You shouldn't have ended it like that. It's annoying. The second thing I didn't like was the fact it includes chapters from the murderer's point of view. I admit I didn't guess who the murderer was. This book does lead you up a garden path, and I applaud anyone who can guess who the real murderer was. But I just think those chapters were unnecessary. They didn't really add anything. And I don't know if it was Galbraith trying out a different, more ruthless and sexualised writing style, but it just, for me, it didn't fit with this book. The final thing I didn't like about this book was some of the diction. I guess it makes more sense if you listen to an audiobook, but in some parts this is written as you would say in a Cockney accent or a very, very Scottish accent. And for me, it's clunky to read. I prefer it just to be written in plain old, easy to understand English, not colloquial diction. It's hard, it makes me stop and start, and I don't like it. However, if you experience this book through audio, I'm sure it's absolutely amazing and it brings another dimension to it. But for written, again, for me, it just didn't work. So I'm going to rate The Career of Evil a 4.5 Christmassy penguin jumpers out of 5. Now I'm just going to briefly talk about what's going to be coming up on this channel. The next book I review is going to be this one, Harm's Way by Craig Evans. Now, I've already read this, but the review won't be up until the new year as I'm going to enjoy the festive period. That will shortly be followed by a Marvel top 10 favourite female characters. Don't worry, males, your time will come. So, that was my first ever review, and it wasn't as daunting as I thought it was going to be. Please like and comment and subscribe and share if you wanted to or if you like it, and comment to give me any tips of what I can do. I'm going to be doing a poll on Twitter. You can follow me at InsanityG96. There is a link somewhere up here, I think. asking you guys what book you want me to read next and then consequently review. So again, thank you very much for watching and I will see you next time. Bye!